Arguments are back underway this morning in the federal trial of 5 Proud Boys charged with seditious conspiracy and other charges for the January 6th insurrection. Today, the defense saying prosecutors wanted to make defendant Enrique Tarrio a, quote, scapegoat for Donald Trump and those in power. Now, DOJ prosecutors gave their closing argument yesterday, saying the defendants saw themselves as, quote, Donald Trump's army. All 5 defendants have pleaded not guilty. And joining us now from outside the courthouse is NBC News Justice reporter Ryan Riley. He's also the author of the forthcoming book, Sedition Hunters. Ryan, what more are you hearing, and is the jury hearing from the defense and their final message, and how soon could this case go to the jury?
You know, that could go to the jury as soon as this afternoon. We have a couple more defense arguments to get through, and then the government will get a chance for a rebuttal argument, the final word that the jury will hear ultimately before they decide this case. And remember, this case has been stretching out now over the course of more than 4 months. Jury selection began back in December. There's been more than 60 days of testimony in this case, so it's been a really long run. So you have to remind jurors of what happened at the very beginning here. But as you said, essentially Enrique Tarrio's team is essentially trying to place the blame on Donald Trump and say that he was responsible for what happened, reminding jurors of what Donald Trump said that day, said that, you know, you have to fight like hell or you're not going to have a country anymore, and also even blaming Donald Trump somewhat for some of the Proud Boys' own internal problems. At one point, they referenced the stand back and stand by comment that Donald Trump made during the 2020 election during one of those debates, and said that gave so much influence and so much attention to the Proud Boys that they couldn't go through a vetting process, and that was one of the problems that they ran into in these months leading up to January 6th. So, you know, the jurors are going to have to go back there, look at these days and days of testimony that they've seen, along with all of these videos, and ultimately make a decision that could have, you know, one of the largest trials that we've seen to date in the January 6th investigation, with more than 1,000 defendants charged overall. This is one of the ones that people are really watching here, Anna.
Just real quickly, I'm curious if there's any color from the courtroom on how the jury's been reacting to these different arguments.
You know, sometimes they're masked up, so it can be a little bit difficult to tell exactly how the jurors will always react. But, you know, I think that that's something the defense and the prosecution are obviously watching for very closely here.
Okay, Ryan Riley, we know you're going to stay on every twist and turn. Thanks so much for your reporting.